This is Joshua Hart for JTH Boxing. Today I'm here at the Steel City Gym in Sheffield and I'm joined by Liam Cameron. Liam, first of all, Happy New Year and how are we doing today, my friend?
Same to you, Happy New Year. I'm good, me, thank you.
Obviously, got some fight news. I think the fight news got dropped, was it just before Christmas or was it a little bit afterwards?
I've had about a 10-week notice, but I've been in gym since my last fight. Day after, I was doing Matchroom run. Everything's building. I'm getting it good 4 years to get up there. And I think this time I'll do massively in the sport, I think, hopefully.
So obviously let's talk about, first we'll talk about obviously the journey itself and when we look at you, obviously the comeback that you've had. It's one of those journeys that I feel like it's gone a little bit under the radar with people. A lot of people haven't seemed to have seen it. But us true boxing fans, we've seen the comeback. We've seen, we see it every day on Twitter. We see you in the gym. We see you now working with other fighters. I saw, was it just yesterday you posted that you've got, I think, the first part of your coaching badges or something like that?
Yeah, first part. So I've come from a kid what were happy, never drunk, never took drugs, to a kid what were down and out, weren't bothered if I died. I don't want this interview to be a sob story, but I didn't care about nothing. Listen, didn't care. I were a bit absent in my family's life. I went a bit cuckoo, to tell you the truth. Ballooned up in weight. Nearly killed myself twice on drink. And I ended up in hospital. And I prayed to God, listen, did you have to inject me with adrenaline? I was having a seizure, everything. I just said, listen, please let me survive this. Ambulance lights were on a lot. And I thought, make me survive this and I will not touch a drink again. And that's it. I'm 14 months sober now.
Obviously, what was it that's kept you so consistent? So obviously, there's one thing, just recovering and beating the addiction, but then there's the element of getting your life back on track. But then also with you were a professional boxer before. It's always going to be very hard to get back into that shape and into that mindset of training every day, always in the gym, ready to fight. How difficult, but how proud are you of yourself for getting yourself back into this position where, you fought back in October, you're fighting again now. I'm sure you're going to have a very active 2024. How difficult has the journey been?
Do you know what? Looking back, it must have been so hard, I started off with a 10-minute run. That's how it spiralled. And from now, I'm doing big runs every day, of training hard. And what scared me, we're nearly dying. So I think that put a lot of fear into my life. I want to, listen, I've got 2 beautiful kids, 2 stepdaughters, and a little grandson. And I want to be there for them, do you know what I mean? And protect them and get them into boxing. Just live an happy life with me, and boxing's my tool to do that. And if it weren't for boxing, I'd be dead, me, And I know it sounds daft. I'd be dead. I need boxing in my life.
So I was going to ask, obviously, listen to what you said, I was going to ask, what does boxing mean to you? But you've kind of already shown that, it means your life, and that's why we're seeing you starting to get involved with other ways. I've been seeing you push out a lot of support towards Bree Wright, another stablemate here. Obviously, I've seen her journey come along. I saw her box in September at the Box Off show. Great fighter, and I can see you trying to push her out there. So is it now at this point, as well as obviously getting yourself back to the top, are you trying to bring people up there with you?
Yeah, do you know what it is? Bree's an exceptional fighter. She gives me goosebumps when I take her on pads. I know that sounds cringy, but I've seen her spar Natasha Jonas. She does amazing. She's dedicated, and she's like my little sister now. And I'm going to push her up, pass all my knowledge on. I think I'm worthy of that for what I've done in the sport and what I'm going to do in the sport. And she's got good support, I've got good support, and I'd like to thank my sponsor Choker, because he's an amazing guy and he helps a lot of boxers, but I was the first man to get Choker into boxing. Choker used to follow me years ago. I used to train Choker. This were a story. Personal training, when he said, I want to get into boxing, but I want to fight. So I ended up giving it him hard. And if no one know, I broke 3 of his ribs by accident with medicine ball. So that's that tough training I get him, but I think he's got poppadom ribs now. But yeah, I'd like to thank Jamie as well, who sponsored me. He's manages Bree right. He sees work I'm doing with Bree, and he's jumped on board, giving me anything I want. And like for me, that's amazing because I've come from a kid what you don't get now. If you didn't have your free school meals at school, you didn't really eat unless you got home for your tea. So we're a poor family, and yeah.
Obviously, you talk about Chalky. He actually sponsors me now as well. He's helped me out. That's one of the reasons why I'm here today. So obviously we talk about him being a good person. Obviously, he's told me the story of how you did, break his ribs with the medicine balls. Obviously, we'll talk more about what's coming up now. Because like I said, you don't want this whole interview just to be a sob story. So let's bring some light into it now. Obviously, you're back out. It's what you want to do. Obviously, you got Bree right on the same card as well. Yeah. What's it like having, you're literally working towards the exact same date? What's that all like? Does it make the training camp a bit easier?
Yeah, it makes it a bit easier. We'll share nerves in the change room. Yeah, be able to have a chat in the change room. I did it on myself last time, didn't I? So I went out in the changing room. And it was like 10 minutes before I boxed. I was thinking, am I boxing or what? Am I really boxing? Then when I were in there, I was like, I'm definitely boxing now. A kid was about 6'4" and about 13 stone 5, ripped to shreds. And I've never boxed above 12 stone, so that weight difference were a lot. But I'm down at 80 kilo now, and I'll carry on keep coming down to my natural weight.
Okay, that was literally, again, going to be my next one. I was going to talk about, obviously. Exactly, that's the thing. I was going to mention, obviously, getting yourself back down, or was it just you're going to stick at these high weights, or do you want to get back down to your natural where you box at your best?
12 stone. I've been saying to lads, think I'll make middleweight, and they're like, no, you'll not do it. But I got told that last time I'd never make middleweight, and I did it easy. So we'll see, slowly but surely, we'll get going, and we'll see. I can't wait to be in big fights, and I've got a big support in Sheffield. Like, on my estate, they all love me because I'm a nice kid. Do you know what I mean? I help everyone, and I invite them to the gym, but they just love pub so much.
Obviously, you talk about wanting to get back into these big fights. So when we look at getting back down to 12 stone, back to middleweight, obviously, if you were to put a time scale on it, when would you ideally like to hit and be back at that weight?
Not this fight, next one. Definitely. I think this one's at 12-4. So we'll see how it goes and get back down. But 100%, not this fight, next. I'll be super middleweight. Lee Eaton's promised me a title this fight. Let Callum Simpson win British. He'll defend it against me 100%.
So is that who is managing you? Have you got Lee Eaton backing you?
Yeah.
Okay. Because obviously we know Lee does a lot. He's got a lot of fighters. He does great things for his fighters. So having him back you, obviously, is only going to be beneficial for the career. So obviously, talk about Callum Simpson. If he wins this title against Zach Chelli now, because Jack Cullen's obviously lost the title, could see a little Yorkshire matchup, get that headline in somewhere, could sell out arenas, couldn't it?
Do you know what? We've actually discussed it already, and he's a good lad, Callum. I respect him. He's a good fighter. I've known him years. But yeah, he'll win. He's a bit before me in the rankings. I'm a bit behind coming back. He'll win title. I'm sure we'll get it on.
Obviously, I've seen you've been doing a lot of sparring with him, a lot of work with him. But what's that all been like, especially as you're kind of at different stages of your career? Callum's still on the rise, whereas you're, again, on the rise, but in the second chapter of the career. Yeah. What is it like working with Callum and seeing how good he is, especially when he first got signed by Boxer? A lot of people around him were saying he's been the best kept secret in British boxing, and so far he's only gone and proven that correctly. In some of the performances he's put on, he's proven himself very well. And this next fight in his career, if it is Zach Chelli, it really could prove that how good he is.
I think he'll beat Chelli, 100%. I think Chelli blows a bit hot and cold. Don't think he's as good as Callum. I think Callum wins that British title.
And finally, I just want you to give a message to all the people out there, all the people who have been supporting you both before. Obviously, you got suspended, but obviously as you made your comeback, the same people. I'm sure a lot of people have jumped on now. I'm sure a lot of people have stayed supporting through that whole time and kept faith. And also these lads at the gym who, they've brought you in, you've been able to come back and you've been able to turn your life around, really. So it's inspiring for other people to see as well, A lot of people who could be going through these similar things that you went through could look at your story and be like, okay, if he can do it, why can't I? Because at the end of the day, every human, we're all the same. You know, we've all got arms, we've all got legs, we've all got eyes. Exactly, we can all make a change.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone can make a change. People said to me, I don't know where you get your dedication for. Let me tell you, I weren't dedicated when I first come back. 10 minutes and I was dead on running machine. I just built it over a year and changed my life. And at first it was 10 people messaging me night. I get hundreds of people telling me the problems. And I feel like a guru. No, explaining like little old Liam telling them, oh, look, you can be good, listen. And they take advice from me, and like people have messaged me saying I've changed their life, got them back to the gym. And that's just by posting videos. So we'll see what the future holds.
Liam, I'm going to let you go now. Thank you very much. I think people who've watched this interview, I hope they leave very inspired, very motivated. And ultimately, I hope people can look at your story, and I hope you can look at yourself and be very proud of what you've done. Obviously, I know it sounds like I'm making a retirement speech here, but you've still got so much to come. But for the comeback you've made and from where you were to where you are now, it's truly special. So thank you very much for your time. See you February 9th, and best of luck that night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liam.